But I think the description of it is just like buyer's agency and the changing times. I think it should just be like, let's revisit buyer agency. Let's revisit what the form looks like, what you're filling out, so that we are not messing around. You know what I forgot to do? Let me just do this real quick. I like to see what the numbers were from last year. Okay. Okay, thanks for joining. Good to see y'all as usual. Look at these numbers. Boy, can you stand out on a holiday weekend if you list on Easter week? Yeah, look at this. So last week numbers, we are down over 106 active listings. That is a big jump. We haven't seen jumps like that, but look, it's 3% down from last year, but look, from last week, it was 6% up. So you could really stand out as an active listing in the MLS if you list on a holiday week. Is there going to be a ton of showings? Maybe not, but it's just one of those interesting things. People just get busy and they have plans, but look at this huge swing. Look at that. Huge swing in total new listings in the last 7 days from 246 to 153. So there is a conversation to be had with buyers and sellers about the activity that's happening, you know, in terms of listings and whatnot. Total pendings in the last 7 days. We did gobble up what was kind of new and what was happening. So 6% there. And then total sold in the last 7 days is 8% up. So let's look at that. So on average, we're looking at about 30 to 45 days prior to a closing, right, is when it went under contract. Look at where these numbers were in total new listings in February, and look what just closed in April. So 8% up, but we had all these new listings, these huge swings here. So I'm guessing there's probably some data in some things that we don't track, like back on market, right? How many things terminated, but these things, total listings, total pendings, look how high this was. But this is kind of a pretty decent little average. 8% of what went under contract has closed. But look at all these sold numbers, these negative numbers. And I think that was coming from like this, like what we're seeing post holidays. In any case, the average days on market did go down a little bit. And again, I think that's because we had this surge of listings here in February. Ironically, we didn't see a big bump. There is a little bit of a bump in the average sale price up to $293.54. There were $5 or $6 million properties that sold, but we had a lot of like low priced properties that were gobbled up. I am putting my foot on the gas of buying my next investment property. I'm not joking. I feel like the potential of buyer's agency maybe not being offered as 2.5%, 3%, whatever the seller's willing to pay is definitely a sign that if you own a rental, you're going to just see some stability in your rental market. Does that make sense? Fewer buyers. If it goes forward, like what we were talking about, that the seller maybe doesn't offer as much, or now they're just more educated on the fact that they already always could negotiate commissions. That we already knew that. If they come in and say, yeah, we're not willing to pay this, that, and the other thing, what does that do to the rental market?
Boost it up.
Well, it just keeps it stable here for sure, because buyers can't always afford, 2.5%, 3%, 2.75%, whatever, 2%, whatever that the buyer's agent is, asking to be compensated for their time. So that's a lot of money. We have a lot of people that have a tough time buying in the city of Pittsburgh just because of the transfer tax. And that's money that you're not going to get back, right? Transfer tax is a transfer tax. You get it on the buy side, you get it on the sell side. The buyers that or the sellers now that are going to be selling that might go lower and may not be offering commissions or whatever, they're going to learn what that might happen to their visibility. right? To the willingness of agents to being able to show them. What I love about this new ruling is it's going to give buyers agents the legs, the gumption to tell their clients, this is what I need as an income. Are you willing to pay that if we do not find a seller that is willing to pay that commission? You should have already been having that conversation, but we'll go over that in the class. Right? 278 price reductions. That's 120 below what it was last week. So I think people just kind of held tight, kept things on the market, got through the holiday weekend. I'll be curious to see what this number is next week. The sales price to list price ratio bounced back up again. I wonder if that's an indication of these listings right here maybe being more reasonably priced. Right? Like maybe they're just not seeing the big swings of the over asking. Okay. 119 total expireds. That went down. I think that makes sense. A lot of new listings are still, under contract. We have, 11 more folks in West Penn, 8691, and we're still holding tight at 7%. There are definitely loans out there in the sixes. Definitely loans out there in the sixes. You can see that with qualified buyers.
My buyer just got
What's that?
I said my clients just got 6.25.
Yeah. I don't have it in front of me, but I think Sawyer, my son is, we're buying that duplex together. I think he's at 6.25, 6.27, something like that.
Excellent.
Yeah, I highly recommend. So the guy that came and talked to our office that Deanna Davis brought in, the guy named Joe that works for First Commonwealth, he was never around when I needed that loan package. So I went with another lender, and then she kept saying, oh, well, she didn't know this. I just skipped right over her and I went back to First Commonwealth, but got a different lender that works with Joe. His name is Lance Strong. So if you need that contact information, has he been the best lender? No. Is it because he's a brick and mortar lender? I think so. Yes. He's got plenty of people to deal with. I've dealt more with his admin, and I've had to follow up with things more than they followed up with me. You know what I mean? So it just feels like you're pulling an anvil uphill. So has it been the best? But they've got a nice little portal that you upload all your stuff into. So it was very kind of well coordinated. If you just knew every morning to check your portal and see what they were asking you for the most part, they just don't communicate via email. They just put stuff up in the portal. So if you're not checking that on a daily basis, but in any case, Lance Strong, and he was, able to help get a really nice interest rate because Sawyer is considered low income and first time home buyer. But they can get grants. That's the place that you go to for folks that are buying properties in certain areas in the city. I thought Troy Hill would have qualified, but it didn't. But other areas like Wilkinsburg and other areas definitely would help qualify. Okay, folks. Good to see y'all. I hope y'all had a wonderful weekend. And
very nice. Happy Easter.
Thank you. See you next time.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.